covering a plot in the Savannah region to rain chaos on delegates and disrupt the polls.
Lo and behold, as the process is about to start, a group of young men wanted to force their way into the premises by overpowering police. But you see, today we cannot sit down for them to do that.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. Well, chaos at the Aliu Mama Sports Stadium tonight, where rowdy protest forced MPP executives there to suspend voting in the ongoing regional executive elections. Authorities had to deploy armed military men who stormed the venue to restore calm. Now, Tamale is one of 6 venues across 6 regions hosting MPP regional executives. We are live across the region shortly, but we stay in Tamale for the moment, where, again earlier, 6 people were arrested by the police, all because of confusion over disqualified delegates.
Last Wednesdays, there was a meeting between the elections committee and representatives of the aspirants, and it had to do with issues about the regional elections. At the meeting, there were issues about some names in the proposed register. So, the aspirants raised it at the forum, and the committee indicated that the best way to deal with that is to actually have it written to them. So a group of aspirants actually sat together and put a petition before the committee. The petition had among them one key issue that had to do with the fact that there were about 11 institutions in the register that had no formal records or public records of their TESCOM activities. So because of that, these institutions, their legitimacy to take part in the election was questioned by these aspirants. Subsequently, the committee looked at the petition and came out and indicated that this petition is actually has merit, and so they strike out 11 institutions because the issues raised were valid. So because of that, these institutions were strike out. So the last communication between the committee and the aspirants actually came out that only 15 institutions will take part in this election under the umbrella of TESCOM.
As we announce the decision, please.
So that was done. To our surprise and dismay, when it got to the turn of TESCOM, they are giving us a whooping 26 institutions, including these fictitious. The term fictitious was used by the chairman of the committee in describing these institutions. My sister, you have been in this business of journalism for a long time. Since when have we have weekend schools, having TESCOMs, distance learning programs, having TESCOMs, without any public notice or public records of their activities?
It's clear how charged that environment is. Well, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, who of course is the Deputy Energy Minister, but chairs the election committee, confirmed there was an agreement, and then because of the chaos there, asked that the elections be halted.
So the committee has discussed amongst ourselves, and we resolved that once we do not have an atmosphere of peace to continue with the conduct of this election, on account of this petition, we have resolved that we do not allow those institutions to participate. The Electoral Commission has been duly informed. So we want everybody to calm down. Just calm delegates to sit vote. And the assistant that we are appealing. So I thank you very much. Please, everybody should cooperate with us.
Those in the two of these institutions must step up.
Thank you.
We'll speak to Dr. Adam very shortly. Martina Bugri is our correspondent on the ground. Martina, it was halted briefly, but is the voting back on now?
Yes, voting is back on, and they actually finished about an hour ago, and counting has begun. And before I stepped out, they had counted about 7 slots, and so far we have the four of the incumbent winning. We have the women's organizer getting back her slot. We have the youth organizer taking back his slot. We have the organizer taking back his slot. And just as I was stepping out, there was wild jubilation. Supporters of the incumbent party chairman, Mohamed Samba, wild jubilation. So we anticipate he had won because he had counted his opponent's own and his had exceeded it. And so there were wild jubilations even before they officially declared him the winner. And so eventually things are getting to an end at the Tamale Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium in Tamale, where the MPP delegate conference is being held.
I mean, the big two positions everybody's interested in, chairman and secretary, has that been declared yet?
For secretary, yes, the incumbent lost, but the chairmanship, the incumbent is on the verge of winning because so far his votes have exceeded the contestant. The one people had anticipated could cause a stir, and that is Alaji Dagomba Boy, they call him. But it looks as if that would not happen.
Okay, Martina, stay with me because I want to get into details of the new secretary that the Northern Region may have. But Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam is just joining us right now on the telephone line. He is he chairs the elections committee there. Doc, thank you for your time. You're on Top Story.
Thank you, Ivan.
And
Awesome time.
great, absolutely yes. And I see that you had to step in there, and in essence disqualify some delegates. Give us a background to this. Why was that necessary?
Well, it had to do with the delegates from TESCON. And so when the party sent the album from Accra to the Electoral Commission, the list of delegates from TESCON were supposed to be 26, which means that every institution had one delegate, so 26 institutions in all. But we received a petition from one of the contestants that they did not recognize 10 of the institutions because they did not see them as accredited institutions. And these are mainly distance learning centers of some of the universities we have in the country. UCC, Distance Learning Center, for example, University of Ghana Learning Center, they think that they are not accredited institutions. So they had just been called by the Electoral Commission to come and cast their vote. So 26 of them lined up. So we had to organize ourselves as a committee to look at the petition. We discussed amongst ourselves, and we said that in the interest of peace, because there is no room at this stage to resolve issues, and therefore, if scrapping out those names was going to bring the peace that we needed to continue with the exercise, then we needed to do that. So we had to take that decision and inform the Electoral Commission accordingly. So the 10 institutions did not vote.
And I'm curious, though. If they didn't vote this very last minute, doesn't that open the whole elections up to some form of legal challenge subsequently?
Well, I think that legal challenges are part of elections, and so it's not satisfied. It's open. It's open to any person to look at whatever. And the party encourages that people will use the internal party mechanisms to resolve any challenges they may have instead of resorting to court. And so there is an appeals at the national level, and people are free to appeal to them if they are aggrieved about some of the issues that we haven't been able to resolve.
I know it's just about getting dark. You have enough security on the ground to ensure law and order?
Yes, the military had to move in to complement the work of the police. And I can tell you that within a short peace was restored, no more disturbances, and the voting continues. And as I speak to you, counting has just ended. They have just
ended the counting for the chairman, the regional chairmanship position, and the EC will soon declare the results for all the positions.
Thank you very much. That's Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam there, speaking to us from the ground in Tamale. Martina is still with me. Martina, talking about security, Dr. Amin Adam is confident. He says you already have military men on the ground. They are visible and are well armed, from what I understand, Martina.
Yes, exactly. So we have military officers in the inner perimeter where the activities are being done, and then outside the compound itself, when you go outside the stadium itself, at the gate, at the entrance, they are littered everywhere, I must say.
And Martina, something happened earlier. A few people were arrested, but there were also reports of a gunshot outside the stadium. Tell us more. And you also spoke to the regional crime officer about this.
Yes, we were inside when we heard a gunshot, so we went out. Those around could not tell who had shot the gun, but everybody we spoke to said yes, they indeed heard the gunshot. And so when we came in, we met the crime officer. I spoke to him, and he says that 6 people were arrested. They were found in some rooms in the stadium, and so they were picked up. One was found making a call which sounded suspicious, and so he was also picked up, making them sick. So as we speak now, he says, yeah, at the police headquarters, investigations are underway, and if they establish the reason why they were here, they will get this information.
Thank you very much, Martina. So that's Martina, just before you go quickly, you were going to give us an update on the outcome of the elections.
Yes, we have some results. Like I said, the women's organizer has retained her seat. The chairman, we are told, is on the verge of taking his own. The organizer has taken his seat. Unfortunately, the secretary lost to Dr. Hudu Zakaria. Dr. Hudu Zakaria is a lecturer at the UDS, and so he is as the new secretary of the Northern Region.
Martina, thank you very much. And I want to take it to the Savannah region now, where we understand that the voting has come to an end. They also had an incident there where the police told us earlier that they had to foil a possible attack on the elections that had been orchestrated by a few people who simply didn't want the elections to go ahead. They picked up one gentleman. And they found on the person some weapons. We'll get into that pretty shortly, but let's quickly get the very latest from my correspondent, Isaac Nonya, who's joining us right now. Isaac, I understand the polls have ended. Do we have the results of who is a new or retained chairman and secretary? Hello, Isaac.
Yes, Evans.
Yes, Isaac, do you have a new elected chairman for the Savannah, or the incumbent retained his seat?
Yes, the incumbent retained with a huge margin of 112 votes, beating his opponent with 60, who got 60. Let me say, four incumbents lost their positions to the newcomers: regional organizer, regional secretary, regional treasurer, and a second regional vice chairperson. The only female who was there on that position also lost. And let me say, the polls came to pass peacefully, and then the losers accepted it gratefully, and they congratulated the winners. At the end of the day, they have been sworn in, and then as we speak, many of them are still jubilating, the others are also leaving.
And on the ground there, I know a lot of the MPP executives were on the ground, the regional minister himself. All of them happy with the way it went?
Sure. You know, before the voting, both regional minister and the MP of the area addressed the delegates and their supporters. And they said at the end of the day, these are internal contests. They want peace to prevail. And the larger picture is for NPP to win the seats and whatever they want to do to win the region. So they should come together and ensure that the thing ends peacefully. And that was it. It came to pass, and then both regional minister and the MP were there to also thank the supporters and the losers and winners for their cooperation and support. With me here is the regional minister, Said Moaz Jibril, who will give details of what has happened behind the scenes and the victory.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for joining us here on Top Story. You've been on the ground as the chair of the Regional Security Council, leading this operation, ensuring peace. Happy with the way the elections were conducted, particularly the security arrangement that were put in place.
Thank you very much, and thank you to your listeners. We are very thankful to you for this opportunity. We want to tell the whole Ghana that Savannah region is peaceful. We've been able to conduct the elections without any incident. In fact, everything went peacefully. For us, as a new region like the Savannah region, we need peace for NPP to grow. First of all, you remember we had only one seat. And in 2020, we had an additional 2 seats to add to the single one we have. So as we speak, we have 3 seats. So our mission and whatever we wanted to do was to foster unity among the contestants. And that is what we did from day one. We've met them more than 3 times to tell them that Savannah region is going to be the battleground for 2024, because if all things being equal, if the NDC presidential candidate, who is John Mahama, wins again, it means that he will not be happy to have his own backyard MPP performing very, very well. So our target is to make sure that we are able to even increase the number of seats we have. And that's why we've been able to conduct this these regional elections peacefully. You know, this all started with the polling station elections. We came to the constituency and now to the regional level. All these things were done without any incident. The only thing that showed this ugly head there last time was during our vetting. So we used that as a lesson to make sure that the security took over the whole elections and everything went on well.
Yeah.
In fact, where the center, the elections was carried out, in fact, the whole place was cordoned off. We made sure that only delegates and accredited persons were allowed into the voting ground.
But we had
them was properly searched.
Yeah, we exactly. Talking about the searching, the spokesperson for the Regional Police Command, Chief Inspector Wusu, disclosed to us that they arrested one person and they found in the person some weapons, and the police say they had intelligence that some people were plotting to disrupt the polls. As the chair of the Security Council, did this come to your attention?
Sure. My intelligence already hinted me, and that was why we had the RECSEC meeting and took a decision that we have to cordon off the place 100 meters away from the supporters. And that was rightly done. And then we also asked that each candidate, delegate, and accredited persons should be searched properly. And lo and behold, when one person was arrested with a weapon and then currently is with the police, it's not a weapon aside, but it can also cause harm, definitely. It was a very long scissors found on him. And then he was arrested, and then he's currently in the police grips. So from here, we are going to look at the next step to take against such an individual.
Thank you very much, Regional Minister. I'm grateful that you joined us with that quick update from the ground there in the Savannah region where polls have ended, although the police and the Regional Minister who chairs the Regional Security Council confirms picked up that intelligence. They managed to foil what could have been an attack and a disruption to the polls there. So that's the situation in the Savannah region. Let's get the latest from the Northeast region, where my colleague Ilyasu Tanko is standing by. Ilyasu, I understand that in the Northeast region, the incumbent chairman Nuruddin Fuseni has retained his seat.
Yes, exactly. He retained his seat with 72 votes, and his contenders, Bawa Akamara, also garnered 50 votes, and Mohammed Shani also garnered about 20 votes. And so Mohammed Nuruddin Husseini is the new, has been retained as the regional chairman of the Northeast region.
What about the secretary positions as well, and the other key national executive positions that were all up for grabs?
Yes, the regional secretary, Louis Sambian, also retained his seat, his position. He garnered a whopping 106 votes. The youth organizer also was retained, as well as the assistant secretary. Is only the women organizer and about 3 other positions were changed. These positions, the regional chairman position, the secretary, and the youth organizer position before this particular election were the center of attractions, and all these officers were able to retain their seats.
Thank you very much, Ilyasu. A trend is beginning to emerge here where many of the incumbents retain their seats. We've seen that in many of the areas we've been so far. That says a lot. I mean, the delegates appear to have a lot of faith in their regional executives, considering the background to this regional elections. These regional executives were those at the helm when the party suffered significant losses in parliament, and even in the presidential elections also. But the delegates still believe many of them deserve to keep hold of their seats. That's a pretty interesting one. We'll be breaking down for you when everything is done on Sunday. We'll get a broader picture of this. Let's speak to my colleague in the Bono East region, Anas Sabit, who is also on the ground there. Let's get if that picture is what is also playing out there. Anas, the counting was underway the last time I checked with you. Has it ended, and what picture is emerging?
Evans, counting is over. Now we know the full or the certified results from this particular context. The situation here in the region, there's been lots of changes from the chairman through to the national coordinator position. New faces are emerging. We have, as it stands, I have only 2 positions. The women's organizer, who's been able to retain her position. The general secretary or the regional secretary, David, who equally retained his position. But the chairman, let me start with the chairman, where we had 3 persons, vying for that particular position. The incumbent, Thomas Edu Apia, running against Prince Yauduna, and then Ibrahim Bababukari. Ibrahim Bababukari, a new entrant, this is the first time he's contesting. He won with a vast margin, 161 votes compared to the incumbent who polled only 78 votes, and then the third candidate polling 7. So it's been a landslide victory for Ibrahim Bababukari against the incumbent Thomas Adiopia, whom before the elections we all, the science was in his favor. So this is a landslide victory for Ibrahim Bababukari, who is, going for the first time. Now we move to the general secretary position, where the incumbent David Boache was able to poll 129 votes against the next person, Kofi Amofa Atta, who polled 108. So that is equally a keen contest there. The youth organizer position, the organizer position, we have Sule Musa, who is the incumbent. He retained the seat with 178 votes against Quine Isaac, who polled 59. And then the vice chairmanship position, we have Baba Ahmed Abdullahi, who is the current winner. He defeated the incumbent Nanase Cheboatin, who polled 101 against Baba Ahmed's 119. And Evans, the national coordinator position, the incumbent equally lost. Alhaji Adam Mohammed, he had 42 votes. Second person, Isaac Haruna Bamba, had 51. And then Jibril Abubakar had 144. It's been a landslide victory, equally there in that particular contest. The incumbent women's organizer, Sophia Danso, was able to retain her position with 174 against Akosia Kufuor, who had only 63 votes. So there's been a lot of changes in the contest, Evans. Like I said, only about 3 persons were able to retain their positions here in the Bono East region.
And this has been peaceful, no incident.
The election started very peaceful. It was only after the elections there were quite some misunderstandings, which was resolved. But I must say, generally or largely, the elections have been very peaceful here in the Bono East region.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Anasabet, with that update. In the Bono region, there was some confusion there. The Bono Regional Elections Committee had said earlier that they were waiting for the direction from the national office of the party over an interlocutory injunction on 2 constituencies in the region. The constituencies executives from Sunyani East and German South are by an order of the Sunyani court prevented from taking part in the conference that we know was supposed to elect the executives. We'll get some clarity on what happened there. But the Regional Elections Committee, we understand that they were clear that the elections could go ahead with or without the constituency. So these are 6 regions electing regional executives today. Tomorrow, we have almost 10 regions electing executives, and everybody's going to be focusing on 2 main regions tomorrow, the Ashanti and the Greater Accra region. Chairman Wuntumi is facing stiff opposition in the Ashanti region. We'll be bringing you coverage across the day on all our bulletins. You want to stay with us. It's the election headquarters. Precious is on. Let's get Precious to give us a quick update on the situation that I just indicated in the Bono region. Precious, so did the elections come off?
No, Evans, the election actually is on 29th.
29th. Okay, so this is going to be on the Sunday.
Yes, that should be on Sunday.
Have they resolved the issues surrounding the injunction?
No, for now, no. The issue is now in the hands of the courts. The injunction is on, and it's only affecting 2 constituencies. That is Sunyani East and then German South constituencies. Yeah, and according to election committee, they will be waiting for direction from the party headquarters in Accra as to what they should do. But in their wisdom, they do not think 2 out of the 12 constituencies should affect the process on Sunday. So in the interim or tentatively, they believe that Sunday the election will go on because the 10 forms a quorum for them to go on with the election. But they will be waiting for direction from the party headquarters.
Precious, thank you very much. Well, all the details on myjoyonline.com and across our social media pages. Catch it there. You understand who won, who lost across the 6 regions today. Tomorrow we're on again with almost 10 regions also. Well, less than that, significantly 8, I think, tomorrow in the key regions such as the Greater Accra region, where we're going to be seeing the keen contest. In Ashanti region also, we expect a keen contest. And then we're also going to have the Bono region on Sunday, but we have the Central region also coming up tomorrow.